Okay. So in the United States, prosecutors' offices are typically staffed at the local, state, or federal level. And the district attorney's offices are usually elected by voters. So you would have to vote in your county or your city. And in the prosecutor's office, they have paralegals, legal assistants, and they have kind of a person who manages different departments of the office. And then for US attorneys, they're usually appointed by the president. And with these prosecutors' offices, there could be corruption. Like maybe, let's say a paralegal would withhold evidence and mislead the court. There's a lot of cases where paralegals or the attorneys, the way they present evidence to the jury and even the way they say things can mislead the jury and make them believe a certain thing. Also there's a lot of bribery that happens and financial corruption as well as like conflict of interest. Conflict of interest happens when, let's say, an attorney knows the person they're representing. It could cause a lot of conflict between that and the way they represent the person. And yeah.
Okay, so in Mexico, the prosecutor's office, it is an autonomous constitutional body whose purpose is to investigate crimes and clarify the facts, also to provide an efficient, effective, and lawful administration of justice that contributes to combating insecurity and reducing it, also to ensure that the guilty party does not go unpunished, and to promote, protect, respect, and guarantee the rights of truth. There is like conforming at two levels, the federal level and the state level. In the federal level, it's called the Fiscalía General de la República, which it involves significant decision-making power on criminal policy and high-profile cases. And in the state level is the state prosecutor's offices, that we have 32 states, and each state has its own state-level prosecutor's office, and which operates like similarly to the Fiscalía General de la República, but primarily handles cases involving like state and local crimes. And there is a huge issue with impunity and bribery, that conflicts like getting justice. And the prosecutor's office are often criticized for being like political and criminal influence, and have like high level connections, specifically in cases involving organized crime that affects a lot, like in the justice system. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. Well, in the U.S., prosecutors serve a critical role as gatekeepers of at the federal level. These are U.S. attorney. There are U.S. attorneys who work under the Department of Justice, while at the state and local levels, prosecutors are generally known as district attorneys or county attorneys. Staffing structures vary widely across the jurisdiction and available resources. The prosecutors are expected to be advocates for the rule of law and are held to a high ethical standards due to the power they wield in deciding which cases go to trial, offering plea deals, and recommending sentences. Um, Corruption within a prosecutor's office can take bribery and case fixing to more subtle, such as favoritism or undue influence interests. Corruption in offices is particularly damaging because it directly affects public trust. When a prosecutor prioritizes personal interests over justice, it can lead to wrongful convictions, unfairly harsh sentences, or overlook criminal behavior. Um, Historically, cases of prosecutorial corruption are relatively rare in the U.S. thanks to its part of internal safeguards like ethics committees, oversight from bar associations, and the possibility of federal investigations. In recent years, public awareness around issues of prosecutorial misconduct has increased, leading to calls for reforms and greater oversight to protect against corruption.
Okay, I'll go next. So as it was already said, in the United States, prosecutors are typically elected in the local, county, and state level. Um, in some states, local levels, the district attorney offices and general offices, depending on the jurisdiction, are these offices are employed by assistant prosecutors called assistant district attorneys, legal clerks, investigators, and administrative staff. Prosecutors are responsible for bringing criminal charges against individuals represented in the state court, ensuring that the justice is served. Duties range from investigating cases to presenting evidence at times. The system is set up with checks and balances, and this is meant to prevent abuses of power, such as independent judicial oversight and defense of attorneys to protect rights of those who are accused of crimes. And in the case of corruption, this can be an issue in some instances in the prosecutor's office, although it's not prevalent. Cases of prosecutor, prosecutorial overreach, withholding evidence, influencing cases for political and personal gain do occur. While most prosecutors work with integrity, high profile scandals and wrongful convictions have shown that problems do exist. The US legal system has mechanisms like internal affairs, divisions, bar associations, and federal investigations to address this corruption, but it can still be a challenge in some areas. The system is far from perfect, and ensuring accountability and transparency within prosecutors' offices is ongoing concern. And that's it.
Can you record it again? Okay, thank you. ODPP is Director of Public, Office of the Director of Public and Prosecution. It is an independent body which serves the people in ensuring that the criminal justice system is enforced and followed to the latter. The ODPP was enacted in an act and it followed the constitution that was promulgated in 2010, and it handles minor cases and major cases, from civil cases to criminal cases. It is spread throughout the 47 counties with 8 regional offices. The major concern in the ODPP's office is work backlogs, which affect the service delivery and delivery of justice to the people. Other concern is corruption, which is also very risky to the ODPP's office, and it affects also the service delivery. Those are the only affect the office of the ODPP in Kenya. Thank you.
I would like to end up by adding that in Mexico, prosecutors' offices are staffed based on state and federal guidelines, with each state attorney general's offices structured to address both general and specialized crimes. For example, human rights violations, organized crimes, corruptions, etc. Staffing levels can vary widely between states depending on factors like budget, crime rates, and state priorities. However, there's often a shortage of personnel related to caseloads, which can impact the speed and quality of investigations. Corruption remains a significant concern within the judicial and prosecutorial system, with various reports highlighting issues such as favoritism, bribery, and undue influence. This corruption undermines public trust and hampers fair case handling, often leading to inefficiency and impunity, particularly for high-profile or complex cases. However, I had already mentioned in another task that the much-talked judicial reform is not attacking the real root problem, which, in my opinion, comes from the prosecutor's office. I maintain that if you do not promote a sustainable system from the structure and operation of the prosecutor's offices, the entire judicial procedure will be carried out with endless obstacles and corruption in between. Thank you.